State of Samadhi is a beautiful state, and yet it is very difficult to explain, because the state itself is beyond the senses, beyond your mind. It's a state of perfect understanding. It's a state of perfect peace. And it's a state of perfect control on your mind. Since mind itself has come under control, to express this state, it feels kind of weird to explain it using the mind again. So literally you have to give importance to the mind. But in the state of Samadhi, the mind is not important at all. It's a total existence without the need of the mind. And yet, unfortunately, mind is necessary to bring out and explain to someone else. To communicate this to someone else, it becomes very difficult. And also it requires for someone else to listen at a no mind level. Then only 100% communication or transfer of experience is possible. But then again, if someone has reached no mindness, has no necessity for these talks, because he or she is already there. So people who listen, if they use their mind, they won't get it. So it's a very complex dilemma how to communicate. But then again, efforts have to continue. That's the only way God can be brought down on the table. It's a beautiful state, and yet very complex. So if I move on to explain this state more, imagine you are a perfectly calm ocean, an infinite ocean, not the ocean that we see. That's nothing. We're talking about an ocean that is as big as to swallow billions of universes. Now, a homogeneous ocean. So equate the total existence to that ocean. And that's what you are. That's what I am. But then again, what is you and what is I? No idea. In the state of existence, in the state of Samadhi. Now imagine that ocean, and within the ocean, not even on the surface of the ocean, this ocean does not have a surface, and it does not have a bottom. It's fathomless. It's just, if you go deep, it's without the bottom. It's in a deep abyss. There are no shores there. Imagine in this infinite ocean, the waves start happening, the currents starts happening, and some of the water of the ocean turns into icebergs, but not floating on the surface. These are contained within the ocean itself. And they move around, creating an illusion of motion, because there is no motion in this infinite ocean of existence, because to call anything mobile will be an insult to the vastness of this ocean, because only infinite can be motionless. Finite objects can move because they are finite. They can show off their movement, but showing off the movement is also showing their finiteness. If you can understand this concept, that'll be very nice. In the real world, motion is a way of showing off things. Like somebody buys Ferrari and wants to show off. They will drive fast, speed up, race up. But in the world of Samadhi, motion is immaturity, because in infinite ocean there is no motion. There is just steady mind, steadiness. There is no mind even. Mind comes under control. So, motion is an illusion at the existential level. So you are beyond the motion, and yet full of capacity to move if necessary. Now, to reach to this state, a lot of sacrifices are involved, but they don't look like sacrifices because it just makes sense. For example, in the real world that we call real right now, if you're having arguments, winning and losing seems so important. If you win an argument, you are happy. If you lose an argument, you are unhappy. And on the opposite side, the same thing. That's why there is struggle, there is friction. But in the state of Samadhi, this winning and losing is all contained within this infinite ocean. So winning or losing loses its value. Whether you win or lose, it doesn't matter. Having an opinion itself becomes a manifestation of hardness, because the existence is so smooth, so delicate, and so undemanding that it does not force itself onto anything. It is the softest and the gentlest feeling you can have. In that state, to have an opinion about anything or anyone is a harshness. Now, to appreciate this, you have to discover the softness in your heart. Then only you will see this tendency to have opinions as harshness. And once you see this tendency drops to be right, to be wrong. All these are just words or opinions or state of minds. These are not necessary at all to enjoy this beautiful existence. Good, bad are only definitions created by the mind, only based on the state of the mind at the time when these opinions are created. Same situation can turn around, can become good for you, or vice versa. So to drop opinions about people, objects, and situations, it relieves your mind and it prepares that mind to reach to the samadhi state. But then again, people who are opinionated, who wants to hold on to the opinions, who wants to win the arguments, who wants to show off that they are smarter, it will be very difficult for them to understand. And maybe it's not their time yet. So, making sense is the secret process through which you advance to samadhi state. Inside, it has to make sense. Then only you will do it, otherwise you won't. So as long as your mind is ruling your inner psyche, you're not going to drop this opinion that winning is important, I have to look strong, I have to be forceful. All these things are necessary because your mind is controlling you. But when you reach to this infinite bliss, it will make sense to you not to be forceful, not to be opinionated, not to have clear-cut definitions of good, bad, sukh, dukh, rich, poor. All these are just opinions about the outside circumstances, and these opinions are the one which prevent us from moving forward. But then again, just by listening, just by trying to drop these opinions, it doesn't work either. The only thing works is a continuous and a steady progress into meditation, dhyan. Things starts opening up from within, and all of a sudden things that did not make sense before starts making sense. As soon as we look at an object, person, or situation, we start thinking about the utility of that person, object, or situation. The utility is again a trick of the mind, because mind wants to find out if someone is useful to you or not, if a situation or an object is useful to you or not, if a person is useful to you or not. These are all manifestations of ego under the bliss of the existence in the vast ocean of existence. These ideas are useless because you have no use for the world. You are in that state of bliss which is totally independent of the world, of the samsara. So why would you have utility for anything if you do not need anything? Then you are the king, and you are the one who is free from the bondage of that object. If I look at a person and start making opinions whether I like him or don't like him, then it's showing the state of my mind that I am living in the future as far as the utility of that person. In the state of existence, there is no future. It's a permanent state of bliss. So, creating a future is the work of your mind. You have to be careful. But then again, this thing has to make sense on your path to samadhi. So, as you can see, the state of samadhi is very difficult to communicate to anyone else, because the receptive mind may not be in that state to understand, and which is fine too. Everybody has their own progress. Everybody has their path to travel through, and we all will at some point or the other, as long as we have continuous efforts in that direction. So I hope I brought the God